And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray as we begin today. Hopefully, we've got all our issues worked out this morning and all is working. That's what we're hoping. Hope everything is well. And we're starting it out cool today. 46 right now. Wind chill of about 42 this morning as you start your day. What a weather event we had yesterday. Kind of rough, wasn't it? I'll tell you all about the folks in the neighborhood that are probably going to be needing your help before long. We did have a home totally destroyed in Clarke County as we get more information on that today. Good morning to you. I see you, Laura. Glad to see you're up. Deborah. Also, Sheila Lane. Good morning to each and every one of y'all. We'll go over some of the headlines and things that have happened over the last 24 hours. What a day we had, wasn't it? Hopefully, we won't have any more of those for quite some time now. My apologies for my technical difficulties yesterday. We got zapped during the storm as it was getting ready to begin, and some of the equipment went down. We got some things burned up, but we kept going. It was a mess there for a minute, but I appreciate the understanding of everyone. Let's go out to Collinsville now, as Brother J.J. Nelson comes to tell us about what's going on at Collinsville First Baptist. I think he's talking about some fruit this morning. I'll let J.J. tell you the rest.
Have you ever taken a bite of fruit that you thought was going to be just right, but then find out it had mushy spots on it? There's not much more disappointing than that. In Matthew 12, Jesus points out that people will produce good fruit or bad fruit. We can take that at face value and say, I want to produce good fruit, and you should. We won't be perfect, so sometimes it will seem as if we're producing bad fruit more than good. Yet Jesus was going deeper into the heart here. See, it wasn't just the fruit that Jesus was focused on. It was the tree that produced it. The fruit, whether good or bad, was the product that came from the tree. Jesus even tells us that the good trees produce good fruit and bad trees produce bad fruit. The question Jesus was asking, and the question I must ask you today, is this. Do you know Jesus as Lord and Savior? If you do, then generally your life will be marked by producing good fruit. If you don't, then bad fruit will come. Walking with Jesus has never been about our efforts to be good. Yet, if we know Jesus as Lord and Savior, the fruit will come. Do you know Jesus? I pray that you do, because remember, change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And thank you, Libby, for saying great coverage yesterday. I appreciate that. And I do hope it helped each and every one of you in some type, form, of fashion yesterday as these storms came through our area. Now, I'm going to ask a little bit later. I know that there's some folks from Clarke County watching me. I'm sure that there are clothes sizes that we don't have of this family. This comes from meteorologist Brett, if I'm pronouncing his last name, Adair, as we go to his page. Let me show you here some of this tornado that went through Clarke County of what they got from a drone. As we look at this, now this is right there, Manassas area. Look at that. It just basically picked every pine tree that was there as we come across. This is a home. Y'all see this? Now, fortunately, no one had serious injury, but look at this. Tragic, isn't it? Now, again, if anyone knows the family, I'm sure that the American Red Cross does something, but definitely a thing the community can come together and help them. I think it was 3 to 4 people that lived in the home. I'm pretty sure it was a mom, a dad, and a couple of children. So if you happen to know who they were and what the sizes were, pass that along to us so we can give a helping hand from the community as they get back on their feet. A lot of things went on yesterday, and we'll be learning more today as daylight breaks, and all of our emergency management teams from Clarke and also Lauderdale County get to go out and evaluate everything and take a better look at it. The National Weather Service will also be out today seeing what size tornadoes they were, whether it was an EF1, 2, and that what was predicted. We were expecting EF2s with this one, and then there at the last minute, this jumped up to a category 4. We went from that 3 to 4. Always remember that if you're watching us, and when we have those, when those categories go up, of just how serious it is, and that was serious. Let's take a look at this as you look around Lauderdale County at some of the things. I got this picture sent in. This is Bird Donor Road where they're replacing the bridge there. Let me see here. That's equipment underwater there. That's a bunch of it that we got there yesterday, which we come across and take a look. I got this sent in. This was about the time when we started hearing the very first alarms going off. Let's look at this. This was from Johnson Kia, or Kia Meridian, however you want to word that. Right there. Look at that. That's you can see that off in the distance there. Then that would head out to our friends on Highway 19 and do major damage out in that area also. A lot of people pulled together to help. We'll find out more about this today. As I said, major damage out there on Highway 19. Leo McDonald Road is where we had damage in that area yesterday. We've got a few pictures of that as well here on the page. And let's pull that up. This was in that area. This was the scene where the Mississippi Highway Patrol, as you see it come across here, done a little damage there also. Tore that up, flipped a camper. Just major damage. And again, out of our two areas, we were blessed that no one lost their life. Isn't that great? Now, it does not do us any good. It doesn't make us any happier, does it, when we lose our material things? It makes it rough on us. But we can bounce back. At least we have our lives out of this. Everybody got through this. Again, we'll find out more today. I spoke with emergency management last night, and they're getting ready to go out and assist and go through all of this. We've got numerous, and we'll share some more of this morning beginning at 8. I hope you'll join us of the different scenes and things that went on around the area. We had Danny Todd out from Twin States News covering things for us. As those first tornado warnings began yesterday, we kept hearing that there was traffic being backed up on I-20. And this is what that was. It was a major wreck there. This is an 18-wheeler. It was involved, I believe, with another one, if you'll see that. They were rushed for medical care. I think they'll be okay in the end. But, Lord, that was a serious incident that happened there on I-20. Hopefully that driver's all right and be able to go on about their business. That's a few of the scenes. There's a lot more. I know that Hickory, one of the hardest hit areas in our neighborhood there, right across I-20 there at Hickory, a lot of folks that there was. And again, if y'all know anybody that lost their homes in that area, also Hickory, I'm not sure the extent damage. I hadn't had a moment to talk to Jody yet from Newton County. But if we've got families that are displaced with that, we also would want their clothes sizes. I don't know what all was hit there. I just know it was hit and it done pretty extensive damage in that area also. Good morning, all the way from Channelview, Texas. How are you doing? Thomas, glad to see you there. Bree Packer, good morning. Yesterday, an important day in the state of Mississippi. Sure, with the weather, we would have talked about this a little bit more, but the weather kind of took over what was happening yesterday. Yesterday was an execution date set in the state of Mississippi. A gentleman named Thomas Loden was set to be executed at 6 p.m. last night. 22 years ago, talked about this before, he raped a 16-year-old girl over a period of 4 hours. At the end of that, he would kill her, strangle her. He met his maker last night at 6 o'clock. At 6:12 p.m., he was pronounced dead. Took a long time for that sentence to be carried out. 22 years, 16-year-old girl. She would have been in her. Oh, that's just awful. Lost her life for a criminal like that. Our justice system, the wheels turn slow, don't they? Over that period of time, I can't tell you the amount of times that his date was stopped and put back over and over the way the laws are done. We started yesterday morning before the storms hit, finding out that at 4:30 a.m. yesterday morning, 2 of our police officers in the state of Mississippi were killed. Bay St. Louis is where it all happened, as they responded to a welfare check. A woman, she was in a car. at a hotel. I think it was at a Motel 6 there at Bay St. Louis. And I want to say that there was a child in the back seat. If I am not mistaken, the officers, one was 34 years old, the other was 23 years old. They talked to her for 30 minutes, and at some point, she pulled out a gun and shot both. One would die at the scene, the other was rushed to a hospital. At that point, she turned the gun on herself, and she died as well. We send condolences to those family members. If I am not mistaken, she was originally from the Vicksburg area. A sad, sad thing. We don't know what was going on. We often don't put enough emphasis on what police officers go through, what they're called to do. As we know in the Meridian area, Officer Kroom, basically a domestic dispute welfare check as he arrived. Very similar situations. And after talking to somebody for 30 minutes, they probably felt that there was not the threat that it was in the beginning, and then the next thing you know, that happened. Condolences to the family members of that. It's a lot of people affected by that. And I've said before, something like this happening at Christmas time. We have Harrison County, Mississippi. Do y'all know where that is? We got a gentleman that's suing the Harrison County Sheriff's Department. He says they didn't do enough. He was raped, is what he says, inside a cell. We'll see what becomes of that as this gets ready to head to court by an inmate taking advantage of him. Well, we get more information on this. We'll pass this along. We don't hear about this much, not with linemen. We do hear about this particular pet causing trouble, but we go to Carroll County, Mississippi, and we put a lot of stock into our linemen. Those guys work hard. A gentleman was attacked by pit bulls in Carroll County, had to be rushed to the hospital, attacked. We do hope that his recovery will be good. Again, it was Carroll County. Be careful where you are. Watch those surroundings. Those dogs are tough. I know that I always upset a few people when we talk about that. I know that you love your pets, but definitely a breed to be aware of when you're around them. Let's see what else we've got going on this morning. We see that 2 women have been arrested as we go to Oktibbeha County. This would be up around Starkville, that area. Had a guy that was running from the law after he'd shot at some folks and did an armed robbery. Well, they helped hide him. They're in the jailhouse now. Much deserved there. You can't be helping criminals in cases like that, but they did arrest him. And that shows a warning to those that do this. You can't, what's the word, aid in a bed? Is that it? That happened, again, up there near Mississippi State as we look at this. We see that a Hinds County deputy yesterday was responding to an incident during all of that rain when it came through Hinds County. He had an accident, totaled out his service car, his patrol car. That's a better word for it. A single vehicle accident there in Hinds County. He was rushed for medical attention. We don't know what his condition is. We're assuming that it's okay. We hadn't gotten any words that it's any worse than that. We see that the day before yesterday, and I was going to talk about this one yesterday, trains, they don't mix well with cars, do they? Jackson, Mississippi, they're investigating where on Northside Drive in Jackson, Mississippi, a car was hit by a train. It did hit the one side of it. The person was taken to the local hospital by ambulance. Miracle that you can always walk away from something like that. Trains are a lot thicker than cars, aren't they? We touched on this. This is an investigation going on in Natchez, which is southwest of the Meridian area down there. Beautiful homes, a very historic town. Police were called to a home where they found a 30-year-old woman deceased. As investigators probe into this, they did make an arrest. The man was there, a lot of drug paraphernalia. He was arrested for that. They're investigating her death as to what could have happened. Now, we don't know. One can only speculate at this point. As we get more information on that, we'll also. Let's go to the Mississippi Delta. This is sad. This is 18-year-old. Been arrested. Why? Rape of a 14-year-old. Happened several times. We're not sure whether it was consensual or not. He's been arrested for it regardless. Parents turned him in, the police came, and he was hauled away. Can't have that. You remember the guy that we talked about in North Mississippi in Tupelo? Going to get a biscuit there at Hardee's. Started threatening employees. Then it got a little worse there. Terroristic threats came into play. They've denied bond for him. He's going to sit in the jail for quite some time for what he did. And whether or not he meant it, as we talked about the situation that happened here at Clarkdale, whether it's meant as a joke, when you say that, doesn't matter, still a threat. Chet Parker, good morning. How are you doing there? Fox News, and let me I'm going to pull this up. I think it's important we know what happens in our country. I want to show you this picture. This is the headline from Fox News this morning. Have y'all watched this guy here? Sam Britton is his name. I got something going on there at the top that's clipping part of that, and I'll get that fixed today. But this gentleman is the one that worked for Biden. He goes on, he was, what was he head of? Some big long title there, working for the government that I can't remember the name of, but he helped write school policies about gender change. He's, again, the guy that got arrested for stealing luggage at the airport. And it wasn't just, well, he picked up the wrong bag. No, he took the names out as they got him on camera and threw it away and walked off with their luggage. And he helped write policy. The more and more I see, and maybe it's just me, my upbringing of what's right, what's wrong, it's getting deep at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't know if y'all watch what happens in the news, but look closer at that. I'll leave that next story alone. It's just is even too deep for me. And this kind of follows the same line of people that want to be something that they're not. And you ever have to give somebody kudos for making a point? A mother went to a school board. They have someone on the school board that is identifying, he's a man that's identifying as a woman, making policy for kids and school boards. So a mom went there and she chose to be a cat that night, just to show the difference of what's going on. That's what's leading our schools. And you can bet over the next 3 to 4 years, you're going to see more and more parents start homeschooling and pulling out of these situations to where people have control of their kids' education. This is nationwide. This is not on a local level. Can it happen here? It absolutely could. It's anything's up for grabs these days, it seems. It's kind of shocking in some of this of the thinking. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all tell me. I'm sure the South thinks a little bit different than other areas of our country. But still, right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm not pretending to be Scotty Ray. I actually am him. Boy. We'll be right back. We've got more coming up here in just a second as we'll dig into your forecast this morning. Y'all stay with me. If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike Reed has years of experience dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, or conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. Bob McNeese, I want to say thank you for you calling out what that guy's job was. He was in charge of nuclear spent disposal. I couldn't think of it to save my soul there. He's knee deep, but that's what is making decisions for our country now. These type situations there. Put it in the middle here. I think it goes that way. It's just my thinking. Oh boy, as we get into this morning, let's look at your forecast. It's going to look a whole lot better today. Let's pull this up as we get going. Brought to you by our friends at EMEPA.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
All right, let's go back and look at our record highs, record lows. It was 1948 that we had a high of 80 today. We'll be far from that today as temperatures start diving today. The record low was set back in 1901 that was, a little over 100 years ago. It was 11 degrees on this date. What a cold day it was. As we see today, 57 is all we'll get out of this. No matter where you are, that's about the high here in this area. As we go south, we'll see 59 toward Hattiesburg, a little bit warmer all the way to the Mississippi Gulf Coast. As we go north through Philadelphia, a little cooler, 55 there. Should see about 54 there in Louisville as we go through Noxapater. And at Mississippi State, we'll see 53 today. As we move east across that Bama line, we'll see 57 in Livingston and Demopolis. And over to Tuscaloosa, 55 in Birmingham. Over in Montgomery, 58 in Hankland. As we look at this, cold weather is on us, and it's coming. Tell you more about that in just a second as we look at that 7-day forecast. But cooler today. Right now we're sitting at 46, wind chill of 42. Brr. 56 is what our radar system is calling it for today. 35 for a low tonight. Back into the 30s. Friday, tomorrow we'll hit 56. But look at our low and high on Saturday. 48 for a high on Saturday. 28 Saturday night. Again, make sure those pets and folks are all taken care of there. As we get back into Sunday, we're up to 50, 51 on Monday, and we're not getting above this, 55 when it comes to Wednesday. Now, let's jump ahead and see what we've got bringing up 50 as we look to the 22nd, all the way past Christmas Day. Christmas Day, 41 for the high. Do y'all see that? 28 that night as Santa goes back. On Christmas Eve, very cold, 37 for a high. Oh, wait a minute. Did anybody see the 23rd? The high is 32. When the nighttime low will be about 21. So we definitely have colder weather on the way. Now, we did have it at one point. It looks like it's going to be pushed to where we might see some snow in that area, and it's starting to back out of the forecast at this point. We do have rain showers moving in on the 28th. Again, we'll watch all this. If this changes, we'll let you know. As we look at our fishing forecast, we go to Chet's Paint and Body today. Major time going on now to about 7:30 if you're going to be out fishing today. If you can make it. A little bit later on, it'll be after dark. Now, you got a slight chance of they might bite during lunchtime. Average day to fish there. That's a look at that. Not bad at all, is it there? Boy. Let's see, I didn't mention deer hunting today. It's good till about 8:30. Let's pull that back up where you can take a look at that. I hadn't talked about deer hunting forecast. Times of that brought to you by Collinsville Meats. Today, starting at 6:30 all the way to 8:30. Good time to be in the woods. Second major time is not good, after dark. So that gives us a look at that. You can go this afternoon. I've always been told that any day during hunting season is good, but afternoon hunt doesn't look all that great as we look at the forecasted times there. That's a quick look at our weather. We've got Candace coming in at 8 o'clock this morning as we'll begin everything. Let's go to radar and take a look at, I hadn't pulled radar up this morning to show you what all went on of what we've got showing this morning on radar. We'll pull that up, give you a bird's eye view of what's happening across the country as we look at this. Here we go from Meridian Honda radar. And if you'll see all of that, that's those tornadoes that were definitely, now they haven't listed all this in the Clarke County area because they hadn't surveyed it. But we do have this one here that's listed out in the Tumsuba area there on Highway 19 South area. We got one in Tumsuba and there's one here also. So there's going to be more added. We do have right here, Clarke County, multiple structures damaged there, 4191. And as we go down, we had another strike here also. Possible tornado damage at the intersection of County Road 606, as we looked at that one yesterday. We've got more to add, I think, in Clarke County. They'll be out surveying this today. And, of course, we got this incident right here. We got two that struck here at Hickory yesterday. We had at least well, I'd say 6 or 7 in our area. Minor. We do have, 5 confirmed there. I think we're going to have at least 2 more possibility brought up and shown to us in a little bit. Well, that's what we've got so far this morning as we begin our day. What is my email address? It's Scotty Ray, that's with a Y on each, 1969 at AOL.com. It's old and people make fun of my email address, but still works. I got a Gmail, but I don't use it as much. Scotty Ray, 1969 at AOL.com if you need to reach me there. Or you can inbox me, either way. We'll be back in an hour and 2 minutes from now. We'll go live here, Fox 30, YouTube, and also on Facebook. Join us, won't you? We appreciate you being a part of our show and, well, making it what it is. Thanks so much.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.